Hey up everyone, Magpie Gaming here, bringing you another Escape from Tarkov quest video. This time we are looking at Colleagues Part 1, 2 and 3. So what I will do is I will put a timestamp up on the screen, and I'll also put it in the description below so that you can jump to the different parts. If maybe you've already done Part 1 or Part 2 and you want to jump to the other ones, then there will be a timestamp there so that you can do that. So for the first part of this Colleagues Part 1, this has you going onto the shoreline map and locating 3 different areas. In these areas there will be bodies on the floor with bloodstained sheets over them. You simply need to walk up to these areas and that will tick it as discovered and then move on to the next one. Now, as a side note, if you have the anesthesia quest for Prapo, you can do that quest at the same time as this one, as it has you going to pretty much the same locations. Or if you have already done that quest, then you will already know the locations that we're going to go to, but I will put it all up on screen for you guys anyway. So the first location that we're going to go to is the resort building. Between both the buildings you have the helicopter. At the back of the helicopter the body is laying on the floor there, so just simply walk up to it and it will come up in the bottom right hand corner that has been successfully found. The second location we're going to is the cottages, which are at the west of the map. You've got the 2 cottages that are joined together by the large gardens, got the greenhouses and the flower beds, etc. If you go to the cottage that is locked and walk along the wall, you will eventually come to the corner. There is a tree and there are a couple of bodies that are covered over at the base of the tree just next to the ambulance. That is the next location that you need to discover. And then the last location for this quest is the office building on the pier, which is on the coast. Just walk into the compound, turn immediately left, and the body is just on the floor near the wall. So it's a fairly straightforward quest this. You just got to find those locations and then you need to survive and extract. They don't all have to be done in the same quest, same raid, you can do them across multiple raids. And if after you've discovered the third location you then die, you will of course need to go into another shoreline raid and simply survive it and extract, and then you'll be able to hand that part of the quest line in. So your rewards for doing Colleagues Part 1 are 12,600 XP. Your reputation with a therapist will go up 0.08. and you'll receive 45,000 ruble. Okay, moving on to Colleagues Part 2. For this part of the quest line, again, you need to go to Shoreline. You need to pick up in raid 2 objects and successfully extract with those. Now, for one of these objects, you are going to need to gain access to the locked cottage, and you're going to need to obviously have the key for that. If you don't already have the key, you can go to the flea market and buy it. When I did this video, it was trading for around 350,000 to 400,000 rubles, so it's a slightly expensive key, but it's not over the top. So once you have that key, you'll be able to access the cottage location, and once you go into the locked cottage, you simply need to go up the stairs. To the left there will be an open door. If you walk into that room, there is a table in the corner, and on that table you will find Sanitar's ophthalmoscope. That is the first object that you need to get out with. Now, both of these objects don't need to be obtained in the same raid. You can do them in separate raids, but obviously you do need to extract with them so that they have the found in raid status. The next object that you need to find is Sanitar's surgery kit. If you go down to the office building on the pier on the coast, go into that building, go to the back wall and then turn left and go up the stairs. Once you get to the top of the stairs, it brings you into a little room and there is a wardrobe in the far corner. His surgery kit will just be hanging on the top of the wardrobe. So once you have got both those items and successfully extracted with them, you will be rewarded with 13,200 XP. Your reputation with a therapist will go up 0.12 and you'll receive 60,000 rubles. Then we move on to Colleagues Part 3. Now, this is part of a multiple choice quest line, so if you've already done the quest Huntsman's Path Sadist, you won't have access to this part of Colleagues Part 3. You'll only be able to do the first 2 parts. So don't worry if you're not seeing it or you're wondering, where is the third part. If you've already done Huntsman's Path Sadist, then you won't have access to this quest. So for this quest, you need to not kill Sanitar. If you do kill Sanitar whilst doing this quest, it will have to be reset and started again. You need to obtain in raid 2 different stims. Now, these stims can be found on Sanitar and his minions. They can also be found on random scavs and raiders, and you can collect them in various medical locations as well, although I believe they're a fairly rare spawn on most maps, but labs is probably your best bet for picking these up. The 2 stims that you need to get are the AHF1-M and the 3 3-B-TG stims. Those need to be obtained in raid and obviously extracted and then handed over. The other two things that you need to find or hand over are the blue keycard for labs and the green keycard. Now these do not have to be found in raid, you can simply go to the flea market and buy them if you want to. Now I know that the green keycard is very cheap. I think when I did this video you was looking at around 30,000 rubles to buy it. The blue keycard however was very expensive. It was retailing at about 7 million on the flea market. Now there are a number of locations that you can farm this key. All of those are on Shoreline. So the first location that you could go to if you want to try and farm it is the ambulance that is between both the Shoreline buildings. The ambulance that is between both the resort buildings, it spawns in the footwell of the ambulance where the door is open. So you can check that by simply going over and looking, or if you're crossing on the land bridge you can look down to see if it's there. If it is there, obviously smash a window, jump out and grab it really quick. You can put it into your gamma. It doesn't matter if you die then, it doesn't have to have the found in raid status, you just need to have the keycard. The next two areas that you can farm this keycard are both in the west wing on the ground floor of the resort building, and that is room 104 and room 112. Now both of these rooms will require keys, but both of those keys are fairly inexpensive. I think it's a couple of 100,000 at the moment for room 112 and it's around 100,000 for room 104. So if you don't want to shell out millions and millions to get hold of this keycard, those are probably the best places that you'll have a chance of picking up one of those. But again, I think they are fairly rare, so it might take a lot of farming to get them. Now if you do manage to decide to farm them and you go to West Wing Office 104, the keycard will spawn on the desk in there, and if you go into the West Wing Office 112, the keycard will spawn on the television cabinet. So once you have found the stims in raid and handed them over, and you have obtained both the blue keycard and the green keycard and handed those over, what will your rewards be for completing this quest? You'll receive 13,800 XP. Your reputation with the therapist will go up 0.2, your reputation with Jaeger will go down 0.2, and you'll receive 150,000 rubles. You'll also receive 2 cocktail stimulants, 3 L1 stimulants, 3 melatonin stimulants, 7 morphine injectors, and 3 grizzly first aid kits. So you're getting a fair bit out of that one. Obviously you either choose to use them or sell them, you can make even more money out of it. So yeah, you get quite good rewards from that. And that is pretty much it for colleagues part 1, 2 and 3. Now generally speaking I don't like to put these kind of quest lines together in one video because I would prefer to keep them separate, because every time there is a wipe or there is a big update they like to change sort of requirements and specifications for quests, and that means that the video becomes outdated. But for this one I've just decided to join it together and see how it goes. Now if there are any major changes to any parts of these 3 quests I will of course do an entire new video. If there are any slight changes like what you get in your rewards and things like that, then I will put them in the description below and label what those changes are. And that is pretty much it for this quest video, ladies and gentlemen. As always, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Stay safe and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.